I'm telling all of you right now, the fear you have of your mom or dad's opinion, of your sibling's opinion, of your spouse's opinion, of the person you're dating's opinion, of the people that follow you on social media, of your neighbor, of anyone, like the fear of their opinion is the trap. And how do you get out of that? By first understanding, by agreeing with me, by sitting on the other side right now on a laptop or a phone and being like, in a very vulnerable state, saying, he's right. He's right. And once you understand that, it's game over. Yeah. What I mean by that is it's game on, meaning whether it is therapy or exercise or different ways of eating or listening to different content. You know, one of the things that drives me crazy right now is I already know that fear is the enemy. And then most people right now are in their phones or on television just consuming fear. CNN and Fox do the same shit, people. They sell fear. They're just selling a different message of fear. A lot of people that are trying to sell you shit are selling fear.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't take this supplement, you're gonna die. Oh, fuck. You know, like it's fucking fear. And so, you know, I think it's very clear to me that what can they do? They can be self-aware and vulnerable with themselves. I'm not even asking you to talk to anybody. Just talk to yourself. All I'm asking is for you to talk to yourself and say, how much truth is in this? And people don't realize that they've been doing it their whole life. This is why I hate the school system. Like, this whole A, B, C, D, F thing is crazy. Like, people just conform into getting an A, that short-term validation on something that means nothing. The amount of straight A students that I meet, happened 3 different conversations this weekend, that were like, yeah, I just knew how to get the A. I memorized it for the test and then I was out. I don't even remember anything. That wasn't learning. That was memorizing to conform to a system that doesn't match real life. That sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, this is one big game of self-esteem. This is why I tell parents, you're worried about your kids, create true self-esteem. That's why 8th place trophies fucked it up.
Yeah.
That was fake self-esteem. And those kids knew.
And we're seeing the result of that in today's world.
Massively. These parents told these kids, we don't think you're good enough, so we're just gonna reward all of you. There's nothing worse than a parent indicating that they don't think you're good enough. 8th place trophies.
Yep.
And the worst one, giving them money after they're an adult. For everybody who's got every parent right now, and I don't like giving parenting advice individually. I like doing it macro. Because individually there's a million dynamics, and I don't know you, and you don't know me, but macro. By far, the biggest observation I've had in the last decade of all the trillions of DMs that I read is that if you're 22 to 30 and your parents are giving you money, there's bad shit going on mentally. There's resentment by the parents. They don't realize what they're doing, but they're building resentment towards their child. And there's deep insecurity about the kid because their parents are saying to them, I so don't believe in you that I have to give you money. It's a big problem. Now, before all the kids go, yeah, fuck you, mom and dad, be a fucking grown-up and stop taking the money. If you shit on your parents and you're over the age of 18, and I'll make it even easier for you. If you shit on your parents and you're over the age of 22 and they give you money, you're a fucking asshole. Straight talk. If you take money from your parents and you're over the age of 22, get their names out of your fucking mouth in any negative form. Kiss the ground they walk on. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't want them to have say? Stop taking the bag. Whoever pays for something has say. You don't want your parents to have say? Stop taking the fucking money. And don't do it cute. Like, let them still pay for your Uber because it's on their credit card.
Or their cell phone.
Yeah, or you're on the fucking family plan. Get the fuck off the family plan.
Is Netflix okay?
No.
Okay.
Not even the shared fucking password, even though they shut that shit down. Good job, Netflix.
Yeah, good job.
That was such a rope-a-dope. Let us get us all into the sharing the passwords, and then we're just going to cut it off.
Yeah, they gave you the drug.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So
Netflix.
Smart. So smart. Netflix, you fucking gangster.
I think there's 2 sides though. You did say the 8th place trophy is parents not believing in their kids, but
it was well-intended, the 8th place trophy. It was well-intended.
So with my kids, I never played with that.
Yeah.
I would tell them.
Me too.
Because I think it's more important that kids at that age learn how to lose and it doesn't break them. Because we're so fragile today. Everyone has this need to be offended and they can't handle adversity and losses because they've never had to learn it.
I know.
And adults don't learn shit.
No shit. know there's college kids that are being tracked by their parents on their phones?
Like tracked or just still being shared?
No, tracked, like the fucking Find My Kid or whatever the fucking app is, and it's just fucking fucked up. Like, we have fucking grown-ass children. Like, fucking kids used to go outside. Your parents had no fucking clue where you were. Now we're just in our kids' shit, and all these parents are hovering, and then all of a sudden, all these people at work, like, it's crazy. We fucking hover and smother and suffocate them, and then at work, we shit on all the 20-year-olds that come and work for us because they're not our kids. Meanwhile, our kids doing the same shit at another company. And it's all fucking bullshit. And we need to fucking cut it out.
And we're seeing the results.
Yeah. And by the way, for all the kids that aren't that way, you should kiss your parents in the face. If you're a kid that your parents didn't smother you that way, but still loved you, it's not like they didn't give a shit. Well, guess what? Good news. You're about to kill all these softies. The fucking 22-year-old that's got a chip on their shoulder is about to I dismantled everybody growing up 22 to 40 that I was around, but a lot of them weren't coddled either.
Sure.
I was just more ridiculous. This new crew, if you're a 22-year-old and you got something and you have self-esteem and you're not scared of losing, you're about to fucking dominate.
Yes. You just summed it up. That getting over that fear of losing.
This goes back to judgment. This is why everyone's scared of judgment. Our parents taught us that losing's bad.
Yeah.
They taught us. They said, losing is so bad that we're gonna have to give you something. Fuck that shit. Man, I'll tell you, when my kids started playing sports, when I saw a kid cry, I would run over to him. I wouldn't even go to my kid. I'd run over to the kid that cried and be like, with the parents there, I'm like, you're the best. You're the best kid here. Good, cry more. That's a winner. If you care, do you understand that 8th place trophies created indifference? Do you know how dangerous indifference is? Do you know what the mindset of it doesn't matter means? If you're someone who says it doesn't matter, you're in a very dangerous spot.
Yeah.
Indifference is dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's what we taught these kids. We demonize competitiveness. A kid fucking cries and we're like, that's not good. Fuck you, parent. That's the best. Show me a kid that cries after losing a sports match when they're in 3rd grade. I'll show you someone who's gonna win in life. Period, end of story.
Michael Jordan cries when he won or lost because he cared.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I think pro athletes should cry. Pro athletes do cry.
They do.
I was at the game yesterday, but I'm sure, like, I saw in the AFC NFC Championship game, they zoom in, they're crying. It's called giving a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a game to you, loser parent. It's not a fucking game to me. This was my life. This fucking volleyball game in 4th grade was my fucking life. Fuck you, it's just a game. Everything's just a game. Fuck you.
But the kids who are
This one's got me pissed.
No, it's good.
Fuck you, it's just a game. It's not just a game. It's just not. Life's a game.
Well, it's all a game.
It's all a fucking game.
Pick your game.
The whole thing's a fucking simulation. Everything's a game. Don't tell me it's just a game. You fucking modern parenting bullshit of sucking alphas, winning DNA out of them is a fucking problem.
Do you have a personal philosophy that you could share?
I want to give more than I took. Because I want the selfish leverage of that.
Explain what you mean.
I want to give more than I took because I don't want to owe anybody anything. And I want to pay back the gifts that I was naturally given because my parents had sex at the right moment.
So, I've watched you,
I don't know, like, it might have been a big snowstorm in Russia that day and anything could have happened. I mean this, this is one of my most viral pieces of content. I love that everybody's so into math and big data and quant and have not deployed the level of gratitude around the math of 400 trillion to 1, which is the odds of being a fucking human being. There's nothing you'll ever accomplish that's more remarkable than that you have a chance to accomplish something. If we can lean into gratitude,
there you go.
A lot of good can happen. I don't know. I'm just super grateful, and it is an enormous. There is no Red Bull, there is no fucking soda or coffee that comes anywhere close to gratitude. People think I'm fucking drugged the fuck up. I haven't even smoked a cigarette in my life, because my mom got fucking Nancy Reagan'd, you know, and so I just came to realize, oh shit, this insanity is predicated on gratitude. When you're so grateful for the at-bat, you're happy. But people dwell about dumb shit.
Yeah, the small stuff is so small. And
people are like mad when they get the wrong milk. Like seriously, I go to Starbucks, you know, I travel a lot, you go to Starbucks and like, I asked for almond milk. I'm like, this fucker bought a $7 coffee. Like, it's crazy. The fuck is the matter with people? We need to start some sort of cultural rule that anybody who's mean to somebody that works at Starbucks should get punched in the throat. Like, it should become a meme. Like, it's the collective responsibility of somebody to punch that person in the face.
We don't condone that here. I like working here, so I just can't even laugh at some of this stuff.
I don't work here. I don't work here. Punch people in the face.
I'm glad you made the point about gratitude. It really is. It really is sort of central to some of the things that we've got Dr. Glenn Fox, who's a specialist in gratitude. He'll put you in, by the way, he'll put you in an fMRI machine, stimulate gratitude, stimulate different emotional states, and watch what happens in your brain. And he's an expert on that. It truly is better outcomes, better life, better health, better recovery.
I believe in it the most. People's perspective is broken.
I've been watching you just call up friends randomly now and tell them you love them.
It's really nice. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm on tilt on this gratitude thing. Like, people's perspectives are completely broken. And parents, sending your kids to a third world country for 4 days to build a house ain't gonna fucking fix it.
And he calls them verbally stated goals. He says, once I commit to something, I tell everyone I know, because that commits me, and it also opens the world to sort of help me. What's your verbally stated goal?
I'm gonna buy the New York Jets. I'm coming, bro. You're young as fuck, you'll see it. It's 100% gonna happen. Like, I don't even know why it's so obvious to me. Like, I genuinely think back to the world helping. I actually believe, recently I had a weird dream, it was very vivid. The opportunity finally happened, and I was in a great spot. It was like 20 years from now. I was right there, but I wasn't all the way financially there. And then I just, like, everybody knew that the moment was upon us because the Johnson family was selling the Jets. And then the country rallied and go-funded the rest of it. It's funny, I'll make this very USC'd out. Vayner Sports is a sports agency that my brother and I started. It's 3 years old, it's doing extremely well. We have 25 guys we rep. We love football, we're all about it. It is our passion. We had the great fortune of being in the final 3 to get Sam Darnold. So I flew, this is the second year, our company's like 2 seconds old. But because of who I am and because of who Sam is, we were in the mix, legitimately in the mix, much to the like shock of like the sports agency world. So we fly to Sam's house. I fly from family vacation. I remember Sam's dad calls and goes, it's this time, this is the only slot, this is when we're doing it. And I remember like me and AJ working on logistics, and like the only way we could do it was I had to get like a private plane, which I don't like being bougie, but I'm like, fuck it, this is the moment, like, you know? So we get there, and it's like the greatest, and they're the best. I don't know how many of you interacted with Sam at his time here, but like the best dude and all this good stuff. And it gets to the final moment of the pitch, and we're just wrapping up, and I look at Sam and his parents, and I go, Darnold, listen to me and listen to me good. If I had my choice of Sam going with Vayner Sports and going #1 overall to the Browns, and mind you, if Sam had decided to go with Vayner Sports, he didn't, but if he did, it would have changed the trajectory of our company. It would have like been disproportionate leverage, it would have changed everything. I go, if I had my choice of you going to Vayner Sports with us and going #1 overall to the Browns, or you not going with us but going 3 to the Jets, I'm telling God right now, I want you to go to the Jets. And we were in the green room because we represented Josh Jackson at that draft, and he gets picked, and I'm like, there's this incredible clip of Sam getting drafted and hugging his parents, and me in the background looking like a weird fucking stalker. And like, he gets drafted, and like, I hug his mom like 1 second late, like literally, she just hugged Sam, and then she turns to me and she hugs me, and she whispers, and she's like, you told God to do it. So yeah, I really think I'm gonna buy the Jets, and I think America's gonna love it.
I hope it happens while Sam's still a quarterback, because
That won't happen.
You got a hell of a player.
That won't happen, only because, you know, I'm a marathon runner. Back to everything I just told you. I will not do short-term behavior. I need another 20 to 25 years, but I will do it. I will retire Sam's number.
How do you know when a business opportunity or venture is worth your time? And when do you say no when so many people would say yes in that situation?
I think too many people overvalue their time when their time is worth nothing. So, this is my favorite one. Like, I love when people are like, yo, is this worth my time? I'm like, well, and it's in a business context. I'm like, well, how much money is your business making? They're like, yo, I don't have one yet. I'm like, well, your time is worth dick zero. So I think people are audacious with their time. They're fancy before they're fancy. So everything's worth your time when you're at zero. You may bail. I'm a big believer of I'm in yes culture. My whole game is yes, comma. I'm not a great person to ask the no thing. I think there's people that are more disciplined at no. I just like the value of yes. And then if I'm a week, an hour, a year in, and I've realized it's not right, I leave. I bail. Because I'm not worried about the loss, because I'm not hearing anybody's opinions. I think you get context. You know, the reason I like starting up and stopping businesses is because I like the context. Like right now, I'm super hot on this thesis that sports trading cards are about to explode again. So I'm spending an ungodly amount of, I spent 4.5 hours looking at qualitative data and quant data on eBay around Giannis rookie cards from Prism graded PSA 10. 4.5 hours. I don't have like 3 minutes for people that are running like $10 million businesses for me. So I like saying yes because I know I'm learning things, and then if I decide it's not worth it, I'll bounce. So a couple things I would tell you is, one, we need less audacity, right? And we need more tasting. And so, and I know when it's time to say no after I've said yes and realized after tasting it, it's no. You know how many people hate oysters but have never had one? That's how I think about that question.
Excellent.
So when did you know Wine Library was a great vehicle for entrepreneurship, and did you ever think about quitting?
I knew Wine Library was right because my biggest goal at 18 years old was to go and work for my family business for a decade. I stayed longer to build a massive business for my parents because I loved them so much, and I had to give more than I took. And so they gave me so much, including fucking life itself. And so, you know, it was a brain twist of like, how do I do this? So the biggest thing I'm proud of on earth is that from when I tell kids to be patient, they don't know my narrative a lot of times. I, as a 22-year-old kid, worked for my parents' business for 12 years, every day, every Saturday, gave up my entire social life during my 20s, which is the prime, took my family business from a $3 to a $65 million business, and then left at 34 years old with no money because I never paid myself more than $100,000 a year because I poured all the money back into the business, and I own 0.0% of the business. Because that's what immigrants do. It's a different model, right? Like, it's the family, when a family starts a business, it's the family business, and you don't get the business until the family dies. Like, and I wanted to do other things, so I came, I did my thing, I changed the course of my parents' financial life, the way they changed and created the course of my life, and then I was ready to do my own thing at 34 with nothing. So when people are impatient at 26, I laugh because I only started at 34 for me. Because the first 12 years was for them. And so I knew that was right from the get because that was my mission. Couple things I want to break down in the way you asked it. First of all, everyone, when I talk about patience, I do not talk about complacency. They're two different words. I am patient, but I'm obnoxiously ambitious, and I go hard every day. So it's a balance thing, Carlos, you know what I mean? Look, I think perseverance and grit and all those things are gonna matter for you if you wanna break through, right? But, what's the mentality? The mentality is, you are young. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you can be mad at me, but like, you are. Are you as young as someone who's 18? No, but I'm fucking 48. And don't forget, bro, real talk, I worked in a liquor store when I was 34. I love when kids roll up on me and being like, yo, I'm late. I'm like, late to what? I started this company, in another company's conference room because I had no money. VaynerMedia started in Buddy Media's conference room for a year. And then we moved to Sunshine Suites down in Desbrosses, down in Tribeca, and I bartered that rent by giving him services and like trying to do stuff for the owner. We didn't pay rent the first 2 years, not because I'm crafty, because we didn't have money. And that was when I was 35 and 36, Carlos. So what the fuck do you think I'm gonna tell you? You know?
Already, you said it like straightforward and blunt, which I appreciate actually, because at the end of the day, I've been trying to, like with this program, that's what I've been taking advantage of, like just pressing the gas pedal and just not caring what people think. But just after, like you want to think about also like what's after the program. Like you said,
yeah,
I'm going to use as a bridge to my next step. Hopefully, if I get
Carlos, if I'm you, you know I have juice and culture and sports. If I'm you, I just DM every single sports business on earth on LinkedIn and be like, yo, I just came from Vayner. I stole all the secrets. Hire me.
Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Let's go to Andrew.
The question's a little more broad, but if you hoped that a Vayner employee, whether it's just like the residency, someone here for 10 weeks or someone here for like 8 years, what is like the one thing you hope that they got out of it?
That's a great question. That they contextualized that you don't have to work somewhere where you don't feel good. You know, my favorite thing about Vayner is it's shown people either in the beginning or when they're deeper in their career that there's a way to go hard but not be in an environment that makes you unhappy or anxious. I mean, that's the biggest thing, Andrew, that I want. I think the other thing is we're very good at contemporary marketing. You know, like I want them to learn skills. A lot of people here learn skills. I'm very aware. I very much believe that a lot of you will learn more in these 10 weeks than you learned in 4 years of college. Because this is real shit.
Totally.
And it's not only real shit, it's the real current shit. A lot of you have friends that work at other ad agencies that aren't learning real shit. They work at PR firms. The fuck? You know? So, those are the things that stand out, brother. If I took the 22-year-old me, actually, I would say to him, bro, you're right about almost everything, but you have one huge piece of kryptonite, and it's a flaw, and it's gonna fuck you up, and it's called your inability to be canderous to people because you like them too much. You're so gifted verbally, and you're so capable of creating money in the future. You're gonna be able to get away with not being canderous-ish. It's gonna work 95% of the time. The problem is the 5% of the time is gonna fuck you up personally and professionally. So you might as well fix it now, because waiting to 45 like you're actually going to do to start getting better at it left you with 23 years of a lot of pain that you didn't need to have, and all you had to do was be a little bit more courageous and understanding you're not Superman and you can't fix everyone, and people have to learn their own lessons, and there's a kind way to deliver that. That's what I needed, right, Alex? I don't know what you need. You know, I think a lot of professionals, a lot of you in this call, what you really need is what I've been trying to lay down in the first 30 minutes. One, do not let any company or any person dictate to you your self-worth. Two, fight for scenarios that you like going to work. If you hate Monday, that's bad. Like, you can't hate Monday, everyone. Like, you can like, again, because this is where things are subtle. You should learn how to get comfortable with discomfort, but that's different than hate. Don't get entitled to be like, 25-minute commute, this blows. That's some bullshit. I'm talking about you're anxious because your boss is a piece of shit. You can't hate Monday. And really, Alex, like, real talk, work and life is a very simple game of self-esteem versus insecurity. I think people need to build their confidence at all costs.
Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
Alex, what do you think is like your biggest vulnerability potentially?
Probably that I can be a perfectionist. So I'm always trying to do everything right all the time.
Yeah, that's a good,
I'm my worst enemy.
Yeah, I almost like want you to like do something wrong on purpose just to taste it. Alex, no bullshit. I make like 17 meaningful mistakes a day. The end. Like, you gotta get comfortable with making mistakes. Otherwise, you'll always be lower middle management.
100%.
That's just fear, that's insecurity. Like, perfectionist and people that say I'm a perfectionist or people say that they have imposter syndrome are just putting makeup on saying I'm insecure. So that's okay, we're all insecure. That goes back to like, were you a good student?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just got caught in that system where it's like, and that's not real life. So start practice.
Like external pressure.
Correct. Just start practicing now. Like, honestly, you've got to practice in like sending it in without your normal 6 more hours of fucking looking at it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Is there a way that you go about it that makes it a little bit easier to not get attached to like your ideas and that kind of vibe?
By recognizing that humility is the single most important trait for a leader besides conviction, and that if I get stuck on my own shit, that the world of merit doesn't care about my feelings. I'm just completely detached because I don't get to choose. I don't have the insecurity or delusion to think that I get to vote. The reality of the situation is the vote. And so, how do I get there? By knowing that if I don't, I'll be out of business.
Yes, I like that. I also enjoy it because like that kind of connects to some of the maybe thoughts in regard to like allowing other people to like listen to their perspective first and allowing them to give their perspective first and then you put your perspective second. But yeah, thank you so much. It's one quick question. I know that gratitude is also like really important to you. Any practices that you practice like on a daily basis for gratitude?
I basically have a conversation every day of my life with myself in that I can't believe I'm lucky enough that here is another day that my parents, siblings, or children didn't die. Pretty much every day, Diana. And so I think I've gone to the ultimate state of gratitude. Because of that, I stress and I have anxiety like any human, but it's so different than most people. I just don't dwell on shit. I can't sit on shit because whatever I'm upset about is so disproportionately secondary to what I just said to you. And I think that most of the people on this call right now take that part for granted. I'm not sure it's so healthy that I think, it was really challenging as a kid because I thought about it my whole life. I'm not sure it started in a healthy place, but I think it ended up in the healthiest place, which is really interesting. I believe that if I was a modern child, that my parents probably would have taken me to therapy because it was such a big thing in my life. I was petrified of my parents dying. Because both my parents lost a parent very young, I've come to realize. My mom lost her mom at 5. My dad lost his dad at 15, 16. So it was just always in the air. And I think I internalized it. I loved my mom so much. And then later I got to spend more time with my dad and I loved him so much. And I think that it started off not healthy and ended up making me completely unstoppable. It's pretty interesting to think about. I highly recommend everybody understands that we're at a massive crossroads in technology where personal brand is not some foofy thing or some audacious thing or something we look down on because we don't like the word, because what it really means is reputation. You don't like the word personal brand? Fine, call it reputation. I have a funny feeling a lot of people in here know exactly what that means. And if you are not putting out content at scale on LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram and whatever else emerges, if you do not have a podcast around what you do for a living or show up on podcasts, if you are not digitally native because either A, traditional media of print, radio, television, those other things are appeasing you enough, and your only digital behavior is just sales-driven intent from search queries, and you're overpaying of the next guy or the next gal a little bit more to be the first result in Google AdWords, your strategy is uncomfortably vulnerable. Now, how do I know this? Not super complicated. I gave this talk to the 2011 limo and car services and told them this Uber thing was not a joke, and they laughed me out of the room. I went in 2014 to Toys R Us, which was my favorite store as a kid, to meet with the CEO and pleaded, not even for the business, for them to take their strategy. I don't have to tell you what happened to that business. The bookstores were very naive about Amazon. This is historical. This is not, I'm a prophet, a futurist, I'm not fucking Yoda. I just respect two core things. What customers are actually doing this second, and history always repeating itself. I just don't understand how anybody is not pot committed in a service business predicated on human beings in building awareness around that human being. And that's it. So that's what I think is happening. I couldn't recommend a couple things more. And we're about to do Q&A, so start thinking about questions. Couple things. Number one, when producing content to use it as a lead gen for your business, the number one rule is to do everything reverse of what you're feeling right now. You have to make content that actually brings people value and not mix in a sales call. It's very disciplined, it's very difficult. It's why I wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook years ago. Give, 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 and then ask. Too many people bleed their give and their ask in the same piece of content, thus it's actually an ask, thus you don't convert. Building equity in the ecosystem around things that you've learned from your experience, whatever that may be, is completely imperative. There's also a lot of people that may just hire you because you're a Chiefs fan, and sharing that variable matters too. You don't have to. I produce more. How many people here follow me in social at all? So the hands that just went up, thank you. The hands that you may know, nobody produces more content today. They may have got 100 pieces going across 11 platforms, but I share nothing about my personal life. No family stuff. You're fully in control. The machine and algorithm don't take you over. You get to put out what you want to put out. But you have to provide value, not put out a sales call. Number two, you have to be self-aware of how you communicate. There are a lot of people in here that would never put out a video because they don't feel good about the way they look. They're insecure when that camera light goes on. They just don't like it. And that's fine, that's amazing. Not everybody is wildly charismatic and handsome, I get it. However, many of you here can write 11 sentences in a way that I never could and post something on LinkedIn that would absolutely crush and become the awareness to you. Maybe you draw well. I'm not kidding. Some of my best content right now is the transformation of the things I believe into comic format that looks like a Sunday comic. Maybe you're audio. Maybe you're the kind of guy or gal that walks around Earth, has a thought, started to understand the kind of value people are looking for, and you take out your iPhone or your phone and you hit record and it's a memo and you talk for 2 minutes and you hit stop and you post that on these platforms. Communication has been established a long time ago. It's visual, it's audio, it's drawings, it's videos, it's words, it's basic. Radio, television, print is the internet now, it's all the same shit. You have to figure out how you communicate. Unable to be you? You're a one-woman shop? You better understand why MetLife has Snoopy. You wanna go real extreme? You're super private? You can't do it? You can't put yourself out there? It's really interesting for you to come up with a logo, to come up with a character, to speak on your behalf. Not building brand on the digital platforms of today is completely unacceptable. And before some classic dog raised their hands and says, Gary, I didn't grow up with this shit. That's why I'm not doing it. I want to remind everybody in this room, none of us grew up with this shit. And more importantly, the customer doesn't care that you were born in 1964 or 1952 or 49 or 92. You didn't grow up driving, you figured it out. I did baseball card shows when I was 13, making $4,000 a weekend. I was the only dealer amongst grown men to spend the first 4 or 5 hours not setting up my table, but walking around and understanding where the attention was going. I would spend a lot of time looking at my table and understanding where to put things because I knew they'd be walking by fast, and could I stop them with a Ken Griffey Jr. or a Michael Jordan or whatever it was. I've been chasing attention my whole life. That manifested when I transitioned into my dad's liquor store business, and it really transformed because I stood behind the register and I watched people walk through the store, and the first impact I had on my dad's business was moving around things. I said, Dad, when people first walk in, we should not have a huge display of $6 stuff. We should have a display of $12. It came natural. It continues to come natural. I have written more books than I've read. I consume almost no content other than reading people's comments to things that are going on in the world. I know that Felix Hernandez retired from baseball last night by sitting in the green room right now reading 20 people's comments about it. I only care about the end consumer. I only care about the potential customer. And I care about her and his behaviors and attention. I do not care what's currently working for you to get leads. I don't care what's currently working for me to get leads. I'm always putting what's working yesterday through massive friction of, is that behavior best today? I built my dad's liquor store from a $3 to a $60 million business in 5 years on the back of spending every penny properly, even though the data showed me that direct mail and newspapers and radios would work better than email and Google search. It didn't matter what it was showing me. What mattered was, what were human beings doing right now? To be a person in this room looking for leads and growing their business and to not think social media works is audacious at best and downright fucking stupid at worst. Now I understand why people think that, because like anything in life, the ROI of something is completely predicated on how good you are at it. The ROI of a basketball is $1 billion for LeBron. It's 0 for me. Just because you ran $1,000 worth of Facebook ads and it didn't work doesn't mean that Facebook doesn't work. It means that you suck. That is not my opinion. That is my knowledge that the shopping app Wish has spent 95% of its money on Facebook and has become a business that sells $8 billion worth of product. That is not my opinion that Instagram can work. It's that Fashion Nova does $1 billion in revenue on the back of 100% Instagram influencer strategy. I, for the record, could give 0 shits about social media. I cannot wait to give a keynote in 10 years making fun of people doing social media because voice or augmented reality or blockchain or whatever is being invented by a 13-year-old girl in Tennessee right now is the better thing to do than right now. Now, this does not mean that something is dead. I'm very happy for you if your billboards are converting. I'm thrilled if your direct mail strategy is rocking it. My question is that the best use of your $4,000? Just because you get 18 leads from it, could you get 49 from something else you spent $4,000 on? This is the debate at hand. If there is anybody who's confused that this is the single most important thing in our society, then you're just downright confused. Sitting down with people about marketing and communications and business, and they'll spend the first 30 minutes, and it's a little less white hot right now, but the election's not too far away, so it's gonna come up again. But a year and a half ago, I would literally spend the first 30 minutes of a 1-hour business breakfast with the executive telling me that Facebook is terrible. Or social media is terrible. It's ruining our democracy and all this stuff. And like, it literally is all this. And then when we would segue into the normal business, this one meeting sits in my mind. The gentleman is the CEO of one of the major beauty brands in the world. We were talking about makeup. He basically looked me in the face 20 minutes later and said, look, I just don't think Instagram and Facebook can sell makeup. I really believe in Vogue and all this other horse shit. And I said to him, I took a step back, I said, love it, 5 seconds just for myself, because I'm confused here over my scrambled eggs. This is correct what you're saying? You're telling me in this breakfast that Facebook and social media is so powerful that it can destroy one of the most powerful things in the world, the American democracy, but it can't sell lipstick? It's real.